today we're here for the final recap show. We'll be going over the third place game, the grand final, and the overall season. So today with me, as usual, is Mr. Dwight Jeremiah, and welcome once more to the Jamaica Street Sports channel. This channel has all the games from the start of the season to the grand final, which just went live. So if you haven't watched it before, you can go ahead and subscribe to the channel and go ahead and watch it. So starting off with the third place game, what are your thoughts on that one?
Well, good night, viewers. Let me just remind you as well that we're coming to you from the bar at Falmouth Chicken. They're one of our sponsors, associate sponsors, and they were pretty much evident yesterday as they are evident here tonight as well. As much as we can give our sponsors some mileage, we will do so. We'll be mentioning all our sponsors throughout as we go. Remember, it's a Duncan's Complex Major League final. Duncan's Complex, they are the title sponsors, but it would not be possible without the likes of Falmouth Chicken and the other sponsors, which we'll mention as we go along. But yeah, when you look at yesterday, it was the third place playoff. I was a bit disappointed from the viewpoint as a spectator and organizers, just with the way that those two teams really threatened to sort of put a bad taste on the day that was looking so well. They turned up late. I guess the organizers will have to look into that and whether or not there are some sanctions to bear on those two teams. And I guess the game didn't really match up to what we would have expected. And it's all probably because of how these teams prepared and arrived for the game. So I don't think it was a real spectacle, that opener. And I think it got what it deserved in terms of the time that the game should have lasted. It wasn't 90 minutes in the end. And I think the fans were taken out of a misery, so to speak, and allowed to get the grand final on the way. So for me, we did get the game going, which was good because it would have been disappointing for the fans to come out expecting a doubleheader, paying for a doubleheader and not getting it. So in the end, kudos to them that they did find the courage and the organizational skill to come out and give us a game, or somewhat of a game. And congratulations to Duanville in the end. They prevailed in that game, 2-1. I was busy doing a lot of stuff, and it's only today that I saw one of the goals, which was from a corner kick or free kick where Duanville, and I don't know if it was a go-ahead goal, leading goal, or it was the first goal in the game, second or third. But maybe you can speak a bit more to that in terms of how that game went. And for me, though, from the feedback I'm getting from the fans, it wasn't something that the appetizer that you get at a restaurant, it wasn't really quite that even.
Yes. And when it comes on to this game, I kind of found it a bit surprising that Duanville won, seeing that they never had their goalkeeper. So, for some reason, Cooper's Pen never really took advantage of that situation because for them, they did not show up with their full team either, so they never really had any changes to make. But they did have a lot of attackers, so I expected to see way more goals than what I ended up seeing yesterday.
Well, to tell the truth, I have, as a coach myself, I've had many a times when I've had teams and goalkeepers have acted up. I have a few players here tonight who are playing for other teams, but they would have known. And I just suspended my goalkeeper. But what I found is that every time that I've put a player in the park, there's a player known as Jamar used to use in goal. I've never conceded a goal when I put him in there. Apparently the team just know that, look, we don't have a regular goalkeeper and they play in a different way. It's the whole mindset. So not surprising that Duanville won because of that. And tell you what, they say if you have 10 bad teams in the league, one will win. It doesn't mean they're good. You had two teams yesterday that weren't organized. One win. It doesn't mean that it was great. So, and I'm really pushing that, and it may sound harsh, but I'll call it as it is because you want to see. And maybe in the end we'll get to that. But maybe in the end, the best team won, not just on the field, but off the field, overall in the competition. And I know that because I've won with kids, and it's only because you're organized. So Duanville won yesterday. Maybe they were the better of the two in terms of organization, but not quite where they should be, which is why they weren't in the finals. So that's the take from me where that is concerned. Just want to remind the fans and the viewers out there, It's the recap of the Duncan's Complex Major League Falmouth Chicken. That's where we're at. Their associate sponsor. Advantage Auto is also out of Montego Bay. They also on board as well. And we had another. It's Zuki Tours. Kiyuki Tours. So pronunciation there, Kiyuki Tours. They're those big orange buses, tour buses you see on the road. So these are spot, and you know the good thing about it is that we've gone beyond the boundaries of the parish. So that speaks to the product itself because these two sponsors are out of St. James. Yes. So in fact, and let me say this, and I think the president will expound on it when he gets here. One of these sponsors had promised us X amount. And when they came to the venue and probably saw what it was and everything, how it was going, it was X times 2 point something. That brought us up some more.
Yes.
So it all speaks to the product, and that's what we're about. And I think when we talk to the president later, he will expound on that. But yeah, third and fourth didn't do much to help the product, but kudos to unveil their third place. So we can, the faster we move on to the finals.
Yes, exactly. And shifting our focus to the final, that product was, to me, it was really great. Everyone really enjoyed themselves. The crowd really got involved, and trust me, for the persons that were in the stands versus being on the field, it's so much of a different experience because being in the crowd, of course, you're going to hear the crowd loud and everything is going to sound exciting. But to be on the field itself and to hear that crowd so loud, trust me, if the stadium was packed, fully booked out, it would have been maybe a Wembley experience that we see on TV. Because trust me, it was so much excitement with probably around 600, 700 or 800 persons.
No, it was more. The grandstand can hold 500. The grandstand was sold out at one point. We had a spillover, so some persons went to the further grandstand.
Yes.
Or we had some that didn't want to go that far, so they said they'd rather stand in the back.
Yeah,
So
I
if you
realized
look
that.
at that, you're taking one grandstand to be over 500 on the other side. And when I look at what tickets there were, we had 500 and plus initially, and then the spillover meant that I had to take another 100 tickets up there. So you're talking grandstand alone probably could be in the region of 600-700, and then you have done. So I think we were easily up to 1,000 patrons there, which create a good atmosphere. I have to say. I mean, there was some videos taken from in the grandstand,
Yes.
and you were in the middle of it, and the view and the sound of it. I think that was really good. Duncan's walking away with it. I think the omen for some of these players, some of them are winning their second titles. They can only win if they're dressed in orange.
Yes.
So talking the likes of probably St. Derek Price and others, you know, and others which we'll invite up here.
Yes.
But yeah, they probably can't win unless they're in orange. They've gone many places, but they just can't win it. So maybe, you know, Taxa found out and he realized, so he probably get out. So Becky can speak to that as well later. But no, it was good. The atmosphere was good, and I'm getting a lot of feedback from persons who post things on YouTube. I mean, there was not a fan who came out of the stadium yesterday not pleased with the whole atmosphere, but even the game. The Observer was there, media was there, and Paul Reed is a journalist who calls things as he is.
Yes.
I can tell you that. He's a no-nonsense type of journalist. He just speaks anything that comes to mind. He doesn't care if you are for figures or not. I remember one time he called me up and he said, "Jerry, it's not because of you. I don't listen to commentary when I'm watching local football. I turn it off. I just watch the football. But since you've been on it, I've been listening." And I know it's the truth because sometimes I'm in commentary and I say something and it's Paul Reed texting me to either clarify or to say something. So that's a good. And he said to me today, he called me about some questioning about some. Yeah, he wanted to find out the exact name for somebody who was just in a shot that he's going to publish.
Yes.
And then he said to me, "Jerry, what was surprising, I was a little bit taken aback by the third and fourth, but he said what was surprising was the final. He said it was a really good game. And there were two teams that were really good on the day in terms of the game itself.
Yes.
And both teams got chances. Yes, he said Jacksontown was probably trying to be a little bit too much flary,
Yes.
but he said it was a good watch of football. And that's coming from a journalist that I say would just call it as it is. And he would have seen football based in Mobito as well. He would have seen some stuff. So I think that's kudos to Duncan to walk away, but you can only have a good spectacle if you have two good teams on the park. So though Jacksontown lost, I was watching back a lot of it and saw where they got a lot of chances too, and it could have gone either way in the game as well. And even when I saw the first goal scored, I think it came against at that moment the run of play, because I think Jacksontown had a good spell in the game, because when you're a coach or you're a student of the game, you understand that the game is played in moments, and the other team will have their moments. It's just who really take the best use of their moments, and sometimes it comes down to some small details, like an extra touch, which I see a lot of times at Jacksontown persons were taking, and a few times I saw Duncan's got some chances, but just took a touch too much.
Yes.
Waiting for the perfect shot, but all that, it doesn't matter how you win. In a final, you don't have to play your best brand of football. You just want to win. So maybe we should hear a little bit from them. I don't know if you're going to start with management or players first. I'm not quite sure.
Becky and Victor, I'll start with you two. Becky. Yeah. Okay, so we're starting off here with Garfield Stewart. He scored the second goal for Duncan's yesterday, and we have Victor Kalian, who is the assistant coach for the team. So yesterday I was interviewing Garfield, and I was saying to him that, you know, from all season, persons have just been speaking down on him. So for him to score that second goal, it's really a good moment going into the tier two playoff as well. So after the excitement, after everything, how do you feel now going into the tier two playoff shortly?
Um, it's an good night, viewers. Um, it's an extra lift. I mean, it's always nice to win a final. Um, but the bigger picture comes in now. It's a tier two. Um, we just go back to the training ground. I mean, the celebrations has ended from last night.
Yes.
Today is pretty much recovery. Tomorrow, training as usual. Wednesday, the first games. I mean, yes, it's an extra boost, but really works out now.
Great. And you could ask Victor a little bit more about the game.
Well, even before I go to Victor, and I've heard, as I call him affectionately, to me is Becky. Um, uh, it's a player I've admired for a long time, and brought him to the parish where Major League or senior football is concerned. But when you were brought into Duncan's, I'm pretty sure it came with a lot of expectations. And even when you came in as well, you were afforded a penalty, you missed it as well. Uh, how satisfying is it to come through for your club that brought you in with so much expectation? And initially, how was it? How was the pressure? Because you did miss a penalty for them at one point. What pressure telling? It's like a player being transferred with a big price tag. That was you.
I guess from that moment, it was the turning point for the season for me. My daughter had a bad game since that penalty. Um, it really took a toll, but I said not for very long. I spoke to the coaches. I got support from my teammates as well. So, as I said, I put it behind me pretty quickly, and I think I buckled on from then. Okay.
And before I go to one more, before I go, I'll come back, because it's different when you have some attachment, and you know persons like I do know Valdez well here too. But Becky the player then and Becky the player now, what's the biggest difference? I mean, I could see the talent still on the part, the flair is there, the instinct to shoot, but how is Becky now? Who is Becky now compared to Becky then?
I'm more mature player, more experience, know when to use the football, know Before when I was playing, it was all at pace, one touch too much. Now I tend to put that, as I said, in experience. And more experienced player, probably not fit than he was then. It is experience.
Good to know. Well, you have been this type of fan over the year, very passionate about it. It's good to see your management because you're one who's always having a lot to say, and sometimes you pressure management as well. I mean, how does it feel now to be the person being pressured by fans too? Because I mean, win or lose at times, you do come under some pressure. So how do you deal with it now? Are you more understanding of fans when they do put you under the pressure?
Good night to the viewers. Good night. Um, Fans, without them, can't go on. The expectation is very much high because games they come and watch, they want us to win. To do job, it's a problem, and if we lose, it's a problem. We tend to get that in the back of our head because Saturday night, I'm gonna say some of them, some most of them saw us and said, okay. Just have to get the players ready, sharp, and that's tremendous feeling.
You're on the team a lot. You would have seen it from the eyes of a spectator. You're now seeing it from the eyes of management. This crop of players, this team that you are now working with, I mean, where do you rank them among the teams you have seen? And you can include, because we know it's Duncan's United, but you would have morphed from probably Flames and stuff. Where do you rank the set of players or this team with ones you've seen and worked with now?
Okay, I think this team today it's much different from the ones in the past. We have experience, we have youthful exuberance, which tends to take things up a notch. Youths they tend to listen to you well, they grasp what you say to them, and they put it out there on the ball. Well, when a player is more experienced, he tends to tell you that he knows already. He knows already. That's the difference in the youths.
But Becky told me his experience. He's one of them. That's
He-
it. He knows
he's
everything.
He's one who also listens.
Oh, he listens. All
I have
right.
no problem with that. No problem with that. I think youthful exuberance is
It paid off. I mean, it's music to my ears because I'm a coach who champion that cause a lot in terms of that. Anything you have to ask him?
Yes, so when it comes on to this season, it wasn't necessarily a long season, but there were a lot of games behind each other. And I know you guys are, I'm not really even sure how to say it, but you guys are the team that train consistently. I don't really want to say one off because because outside of Holland, it's kind of really hard. I don't know why, but you guys have been training consistently, playing games consistently. So how would you say that you have been managing the players throughout the league? Because I know going into the semifinals there were a lot of injuries, so maybe even a storm helped or something. How would you say that you manage the players, especially going into the finals?
before I get to that.
Project a little when you're speaking as well.
Before I get to that, I was gonna say when you do have an aim and you want something, you're gonna work hard towards it. And I think that's what we did throughout the course of the season. Even before we knew that Major League was coming, we were there getting some games with the players, traveling, getting games, even before we knew the league was coming. So we wanted, you see, we were last year, we went to the finals, lose unfortunately. And I think it was a stepping stone for us, it was a boost. I think the players them really, really said, well, we need this one, and we can't go to finals and come out. we need it. And I think the storm, as you mentioned, the storm, it helps. Although we were really geared up for that game, but the 2 weeks break, we see where we are putting more work, get things done, tighten up on some areas. I think it worked.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah, I mean, what he just said is vital. I think somebody like Garfield Stewart Becky there would attest to it. Price could say it's not surprising to hear it because it's a formula that works. You have some clubs who will say their preparation is late, and you announce the start of a competition, and they'll say it's not enough time. But I agree. I mean, being in charge of Holland over the years, when we were dominating, one of the main reasons why is because we played football irrespective of whether or not there's a tournament. I mean, we had the now president then who was carrying us about the place. We would be going to St. Anne all over the place to just play friendly games, even though there wasn't a competition on board. I mean, that's how you keep a team together. You ensure that they get the chemistry. People just talk about chemistry widely, just loosely, not understanding how you develop that. So I'm not surprised that that is a part of the formula to help you get to this point, because you don't rely on a competition to start your football team, so you remain active. I mean, I can say it because Taxa, the president of Duncan's, would call me from time to time for a friendly game. And this reminds me of pretty much, when Holland was going through the gears of just dominating this parish for 10, 12 years. I mean, they would just be playing anytime. So that's significant. But this is going to be a question that is going to recur throughout tonight. It's going to be like a scratch record. From the organizing standpoint, I have to get that feedback. What was it like? You would have won titles playing at Elliston Waken Center. You won this one playing at the Trelawny Multipurpose Stadium. It was a dream of the organizers to get it there. It took collaborative work. What was the experience like for you yesterday as a player on the park, looking up and seeing different layers and packed crowd?
The atmosphere was amazing. As I said before, the atmosphere was amazing. It couldn't have been better. When I saw it, when I walked into the stadium just before the third place game, I started taking videos like this was my first time entering a stadium. Said to myself, like, wish I was 10 years younger to experience more of this.
I tell you, when you said that, it took me back to a conversation I had before the game when your president said to me he wished he was playing on the day. Because, I mean, even when you're going back now, walking through that sort of tunnel where we organize, you go through that glass door, going down that little corridor, how did it make you feel as a player? And you see this thing on TV, you're watching the Champions League, you're watching these stuff, watching these players going in.
Yeah,
Does it give you a different lift?
From right there, you just want to get going.
Yeah.
I mean, when we entered the stadium, we were in the grandstand watching the third place game. However, when it was halftime, the manager called us to go to the dressing room. But when we went to the dressing room, I realized that we should have been here a long time. I mean, the dressing room was prepared. I mean, it was AC in the dressing room. We were watching the game. No, from the dressing room. I was like, why didn't you stop in the grandstand?
You had someone seat already.
Some seats at the It's amazing. I mean, it's just a pity that we won't get to be there again because
Well, not for
we'll
now.
be in tier 2. So.
And who knows? You never know. If you get to the Premier League and the way we are pushing and moving forward as an organizing body, the parish is not just to organize Major League, but football and all. So if you have a team that gets to the Premier League, if Duncan's were to make it, I would be. I am okay to go on records now to suggest that venue we would push hard for as an association to get our number one team playing there, because right now we are even lobbying for teams that are not from here to play there. So it won't be your last. I'm pretty sure you keep pushing and you could get there. From a managerial standpoint, what was it like managing or walking into this venue and managing from it?
I spoke about it already, and I think I said it a lot. Playing Trelawny multi-purpose stadium. I think it's a dream for most of the players. And for me, because that feeling, as Garfield talked about in that dressing room, when I went in there, I was like, man. And I sit with the player, I'm sitting outside with the spectators. I'm like, they have me out there.
Yeah.
The atmosphere is really nice. And kudos to you all, the president. It's a good initiative using that stadium. I think football in Trelawny is going in the right direction. Right direction. Yeah.
Yeah, good vibes, good vibes. And we wanted to create that effect. So, yeah, before you leave, Seth, just to say, it's good. We'll discuss that other part with the coach, but we just want to wish you all the best. I know you just come out of a game. This is Sunday. You're talking about Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. You're just on the cusp of 72 hours recovery, but you have work to do. As Garfield said, you don't have time to have a lengthy celebration. It's one night, and you just get yourself ready because we'll talk to the coach about it. It could be a positive in disguise. So, yeah, all the best to you. Congratulations, and all the best again. History was created yesterday because it was not just the first time that we're in the stadium. It's also anybody yesterday would have been the first time winning the major league. Jacksontown had never won it before, and Duncan United never won it before. So kudos to you, congratulations, and all the best. You're saying you want him to stay? You don't have any voice?
You're going to discover the voice tonight.
All right, so he says you take the other section. You're coming to Prezi. And the good thing about you, I hold any because the bar is closed, so we don't have any of those napkins out to dry the tears. I hope you left it out. I'm expecting when we go back to Green to the multi-purpose stadium, that patch of grass or that area should be much greener because it was well watered and fertilized with tears of joy from the president. That's a dream come true. Whether we take you back to the moment, just talk to me about the whole experience leading up to this and the actual moment of lifting it and the experience and working with the Scrapper boys.
Well, I'm a guy who really like to work with youth. Duncan United is about 9 years old, Richie, right? And as I said, we started off pretty young with guys, 14, 16, some left overseas, but as time goes on, some gone, some, come in and whatever. But it's always our dream in Duncan's to really have a football team, my wish is to have Premier League play in Duncans. Might not have enough space now, but we can create some. That's a dream. So coming into Major League, Trelawny Major League. Last year we went to 2 finals. This year we won the finals. It's the greatest achievement for Duncans. Greatest achievement ever.
Yes.
Our hope is to have tier 2 games played in Duncan. For this year might not happen because we don't have changing rooms. We don't have the facilities there. And I know tier 2 requires those facilities, right? So before I go into coming to the stadium, we just want to have people up there, to join us with whatever help you can. Help us with whatever changing room, whatever, you understand? Upgrade the facilities, you know, we really need some help. But, coming to that stadium for a finals, it was like heavenly, like,
Football heaven.
Football heaven. And so, my first time in an official changing room, you know, that was the best feeling ever in football, because we're at this speed where we're in a stadium. We're about to play a grand final.
Yeah.
We are about to win a grand final.
Can't say that now. Can't say that now.
I was wondering how I was going to lift the trophy. If I was going to lift it over my head.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, I was practicing. But, Jerry, it was a very good game. It gone both ways.
Yeah, as I've said.
Yeah. And I think it was a good quality finals. I think the fans really liked the game, I think the refereeing was okay, but when the first goal scored, when we scored the first goal.
You remember what you did?
I remember.
I
remember. This is him.
This is what he said.
I was in heaven looking down, and trust me, then Becky scored it. Oh,
I said I don't have the napkin, so make sure.
He told me, management, today. I said, bro, and I think they did well. And when I heard that final whistle, that was the moment when the tears started coming out, And I'm not a person who easily cried out, very emotional about stuff. But yesterday, trust me, I have to put some tears out, and that was the most amazing feeling, since last year when we lost the finals against Duncan. I think we really need this in Duncans, and this is going to change football culture in Duncans. I think we're going to have more. I think we're going to have more people come on board, more support, because they've seen what we can do. We have proven it. I always tell the boys, look, we have to prove it to the people. So they did it, and let's see what happens after this. As I said, I always asking people to come on board, support the boys. They need the support. So I hope this media will actually
Get the word out.
Yeah, get the word out. Yes. Thank you, gentlemen, for this wonderful season. This is really a good season for the parish.
Maybe that was the reason why you never won last year.
Yeah. For him to be in this and to be a part of history.
Yes.
I know, many persons had asked us up there, why they saw the shirts we were wearing. Again, kudos to Falmouth Chicken, who is on board. And it says Trelawny Major League 2024, and they're thinking, why specific to a season? But when it's all said and done and you think back on it, it's only fitting because it becomes a memorabilia that you have, knowing that this season was a groundbreaking season. It's tough. Being a part of the organizing body, we knew that coming back from COVID, it couldn't be a regular season. You needed to kickstart football again. It's like a car that the battery has gone down, you have to jumpstart it, where you have to, you know, just shock it with some electricity. And I think many don't know, but you, despite being for Duncan's as their president, is one that spend a lot of time with me on the phone as well, supporting and even guiding in terms of where to look to try and see how best we can really get this product up. And I can say no, that maybe sometimes things and stars are aligned and quite fittingly persons reap the reward, because genuinely it wasn't to say I want Duncans to win, it was wanting football to come up. And I can say this on this platform that you have been one of those persons who, despite naysayers, despite the pressure sometimes that the organizing body comes under, sometimes it gets personal. I think the president has been attacked personally. I have bear the blunt of a lot of it sometimes in a group where, but for me, I know it's all about football, but I know for you, you have been one of those champion in the cause. And I think the public ought to know that you see it through a fair lens, wanting to see the product of football good. So congratulations on winning it. But I have to ask you too, what is your take on winning the competition on Sunday, having to play on Wednesday? So you're gonna go up against a team that would have won their league months ago, 2 months ago. So they would have to find creative ways of staying in touch. But it's not impossible, because in the Premier League we see when teams rest for 2 weeks, Cavalier, they have come and won it in the Premier League, having been resting for a while. I mean, what's your take on it? Being so close to it's not even a week, it's your minimum 72 hours. I mean, you have persons in your team who understand recovery and rest. I mean, it's not a professional setup. How do you feel about it?
Too much rest is not good. Because if you notice in the game, halftime, we rested for like 15 minutes.
Mhm.
Guys get cold,
Yeah.
went out there and almost lost the game. So we are coming out of a competition Sunday and we rest Tuesday, practice on, I mean,
Rest Monday.
Monday, practice tomorrow.
Yeah.
I think the momentum is still there, that winning momentum is still there. So I think we're gonna take that into Wednesday, with and
So you're saying, given a choice, you would have preferred you take this any day over 2 months ago.
we would have taken this right now instead of resting 2 months, prior to the next game. Yeah. The momentum is still swinging.
Okay.
So yeah.
Before and then I'll allow you to ask Valdez any more question you have or tax about. One of the things, you're the management, so you're in that hot seat. They say sometimes people are like a dog that runs down a car. When the car stops, they don't know what to do with it.
Right.
Everybody wants to get to the tier 2 or Premier League, but they're just not ready for it. I know you've started out asking for support because support is always necessary. How ready are you for the pressure of a higher level and the demands that will come with it? Do you think you have the team behind you and the team is doing well? Just give me your take on know that it's a different demand. Have you connected with you how much demand it will be now?
Yes, I mean we have a job to do, but as any teams needs, I mean every team needs players. You need, because right now we have injured players that we have to replace. Some are coming back, some are recovering. So we're gonna need some players, new players, and uh, I think we are ready too. We are ready.
Yeah.
With the boys that we have, we just need to practice more, more often, or say guys come up more in better numbers, because really and truly, some of our boys are in school. Sometimes they're not available to come to practice. So people are working. So that's one of the biggest hindrance of not getting everybody together at, at one time. But it's working. The coaches are doing a very good job. Um, I heard a lot of people cursing the coaches, and they don't know what's going on inside the park, at practice. And
Tell me about it as a coach.
I think they should stop.
It will never stop. It will never stop.
It will never stop. But, they need to know what's going on inside the park.
Yes.
At practice before they start. I don't like it. But as I said, we welcome players, and once players tend to work with the coaches, then I'm done with that. But if you're gonna come to Duncan's and think that you're better than Duncan's, please go to a better team. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah, that's my take on. But we are ready. We are ready. Boys are ready. They're hungry.
Good vibes. Good vibes.
Yeah, and we need to have tier 2 in Duncan's. That is our aim, and we're going to do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good vibes. Anything for him?
Yes, and you were speaking about the momentum earlier, and Mr. Jeremiah as well. You were speaking about, the pressure that the association came under. I remember for me, no one would even actually see this, but for me, my most memorable moment yesterday was when the referee kind of should have made a call, and then I saw a coach look to the middle, and I'm like, Jerry's not here. So who are you going to blame? Who are you going to curse? Like, for some reason, I don't know why, but for Trelawny, everything they blame the association.
Yeah. And I think what he's alluding to is that we're watching a game, and I'm there as a spectator, and the referee didn't make a call. And one of the coach turned around and said, Jerry, come on, what about that?
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's the referee. And he said, but Jerry, that can't go on. Like, you get me? So I've always said, and you have a player on your team, Price. He was brought into a little leadership position, and I saw him getting a little cold feet in one time. And I said to him, if you are not ready for the pressures of being a leader, then don't take it. And I was surprised that he acted that way, but maybe he forgot, because I remember at a training session with Holland when he was playing for Holland, always have a lot of issues. And I said, okay, Bryce, tomorrow you're in charge of the training session. You're the coach. So when I arrived, the first thing as he saw me, he took the whistle off and he said, take this here, sir, because this not work out, because if my boy want me, just grab them up and beat them. so I said to him, sir, you recognize how much temperament I have and what I have to put up with. But when you get into leadership position, I always say as a country boy, my buzzword is that I'm a cocoa leaf. And for those who are countrymen, they understand cocoa leaf. When you throw water for cocoa leaf, you roll up like one ball and just run off and the cocoa leaf now wet. So I mean, I have had it, but because I know history will absolve me, and in the end, the intention is good. And they have a saying that you don't show fools and children unfinished work because they won't get it. Just make it reveal, and then when they see it, then they know. So and I think that is what he's probably alluding to, that pressure comes.
Yes, and you kind of went into exactly what I wanted to speak about as well, because when we're speaking about leadership, Mr. Thompson here is someone that he's held practically almost every club that's in this league at some point in time, because he probably would have brought some teams to a game somewhere. As you said, he would have called you and told you some persons to speak to get some support for the league. So first it was Harmony, second it was Duanville, now it's Duncan's. So I would say the momentum is there, the association, the teams we're learning, because we haven't necessarily had a lot of teams in the top flight. So would you say that you have learned over the last 3 years going into the tier 2 playoff now for the first time?
Yeah, as I said, I've watched Harmony 2 games, Duncan United, and what I think that they came up short on is what organizing of the boys, team, players. They are the most important thing. And the big boss or small house.
Yeah.
Is organizing the boys, and as I said, we have a set of boys that is, they are good players. All we need to do is to organize the team the proper way, send the proper message, coach them the right way. And I think we are doing that. Um, compared to other teams, I think what we have to is not just one person. It's a team. It's a team effort.
Yes.
And we can get the job done.
All right.
And we really trying our best.
Yes.
Yeah, and you've spoken a lot about strengthening the team and players in the team. I think you've by virtue of winning the competition, you have selected well so far. In fact, if it's a formula that stumbled on or it is by design, I look in your team and I see like 4 or 5 players that used to play together at other clubs. So maybe that helps. But I want to put it now to Valdez, who is representing Richie, who can't talk because him shout out last night and all of that. I mean, strengthening the team is vital. But as a coach, no, I've gotten many right, but I've gotten some wrong too in terms of bringing in players. What areas are you looking to strengthen now, and what qualities are vital to you in selecting a player? No, to strengthen, because this is a very critical moment. You definitely need to strengthen, but it can also be your greatest demise if it is not done properly. Is there a clear-cut plan as to what you look for in players in bringing them to Duncan?
Okay, I think we are short on the defense here. We are looking at few defenders who we think should fit our team, our playing style.
I think Price not listening, but his place could be under threat, or he's deliberately not wanting to hear. But go ahead, Valdez.
Players who I think would fit in our team. They are hardworking, so that is the key. Work hard, keep a level there, and I think it will be a plus for us.
What about character? Because there's Garfield Stewart. He was immense for you this season when coming in. And this is a more mature Garfield Stewart. I knew him when he was raw and fresh and just had talent and just to know how to just express himself for the interest of the team. And we ran into some trouble sometimes, and many of my other players felt I might have been giving him special treatment. But I feel like if you have a 4-year-old and you have a 12-year-old and you have to or 2-year-old and you have to lift up the 2-year-old, the 12-year-old shouldn't get upset because they're at a stage where they can walk properly. Some persons don't understand that man management means it's not a blanket treatment. So I may be dealing with Becky, as I affectionately called him back then, in a different way. And persons were saying, as Price said off here earlier, that they say is my pet, but it's just that I feel he requires. Is Duncan's dressing room mature enough to understand that there will be different treatment for different players, because you have to, in your man management, understand what is required to get the best out of a player?
I think the players, they are that calm person when other people come in, because for one, when Becky came in, they saw Becky, they knew Becky, knew what type of player it is. So
it was easy. What about the player that comes in that they might not think in their head that he is obvious in terms of quality, but for you, he brings something else to the dressing room? I'll give you one example. I remember bringing Gussie Young to my team when he was, probably some people think he was well past his best, but he was that person who I think could just bring my team together, mature, but he wasn't the best at his best talent-wise. So some people couldn't see the obvious reason why I brought him in. What if that is the case? How does the management team deal with that? And is your dressing room ready for that type of stuff?
that one is on manners.
But aren't you manager? It's
I'm not ready to, but I'm gonna say when I say assistant manager, I think managers and coach will come together. I don't think we bring players into certain stuff. So,
no, I'm just saying players will react. So is management ready to deal with those type of reactions?
yes, I think we know how. Coach Price is here. So he's the one who knows how.
Yeah, but I'm going to counter it by saying Coach Price can be very heavy-handed,
Exactly.
and he can be very harsh, which is why he took the whistle up and gave it to me that day, because he felt he wanted to drape up and knock some players. So maybe that might just steer the dressing room back to the man. But no, of course, Price will garner a lot of respect for sure. I mean, yeah, he's a player I've worked with, and trust me, he's at this moment when he has to sit on the bench, and he's okay with that. He'll play his part where necessary. And he understands that he's not a young boy anymore, not as young as he used to be. Yeah. The good thing about him, though, is that I don't see him with one of his traits anymore. Where he likes to, put players on the back. Yeah, he has that tendency. But I've seen it in a while. Maturing, aging nice like fine wine. Red cards in my team. And literally, I told him he's going to have to pay for it. He's not playing. Yeah. So, but you haven't seen that part yet. I mean, on that note, too, I come back to you. You're looking to strengthen your team on the park. But I've always said, strengthening my team also is about strengthening my management team. Possibly, coach, are there any plans to bring other persons in your management to help you now to deal with a higher level of football? And is your management team ready to deal with new personnel if you so feel it is required for the new level? Coaching or management?
I've always wanted help since the day I started.
Yeah.
But one of the problems I've seen is some people don't want to get started. They just want to see the help. And if you want to help, you have to start from the bottom. You really have to come on down and help pick up the grass, help the youth,
But I counter that tax, and I'm going to be a devil's advocate here. I've always said to person, and hold your thought and remember it. Some people say they call them bandwagoners. But I always say,
You need them.
it's not the painter important. The painter will come after the house, the foundation, build all the hard work, and he just come and dabble it up. But he beautifies.
Beautiful.
So what I'm saying is we need organization. Because organization is going to come and help.
You need that.
I'm one person who really always asking people to come on board from the get-go. As I said, people don't want to come because a lot of people see me there with the guys from the one and said, "Boy, you are really a sacrificial lamb." You understand?
Yes.
And I know what I was doing. As I said, you have to start from somewhere. And here we are for 9 years, champion. You understand? So, if I want, right now I would love to strengthen management.
Okay.
But you have to have some form of willingness
Yeah.
to come and work with us. Because we lack a lot of resources. Not because we see the right orange jersey.
My favorite color. Because my team plays it orange. Yeah.
Pretty cleats. I would call it boot.
Yes.
The team is swagging in the bus.
Mm-hmm.
You understand me? It was a lot of work to get us here.
I can just imagine.
Trust me, I don't have a hat on right now. I will take my glasses off for the coaches who works every evening without money.
I tell you what, I can imagine he's not up here now, but even you can talk to because you touch that point.
Yes.
It's tough as a coach because you have to be there every day, and then you turn up some days and you don't have the numbers. And as a coach, it's difficult to coach at this level. I've gotten into schoolboy football for one main reason too, is because there's some attributes as a coach you can't practice at these clubs, because you write a training plan and you have it set up for 15 players, and you turn up and there's 4 players, and then you have to just lock that book up and do something for 4 players. So I have to echo that as a coach myself. It's difficult at times when you turn up with a plan and you're excited leaving home that I'm going to work on this today, and you turn up and the defenders, you decide as a defensive drill today, and when you turn up, you only have 1 defender.
Many times I'm on the park and Coach Robinson, the cones up. I would be the one picking up in the heat.
Nobody else will jump over and run on them.
So it's hard. Jasper would drive up from Falmouth.
Nobody.
And, sometimes I say, Coach, everything. But, when they turn up, they turn up.
Yeah.
I understand it. Just get serious, man.
And it's what to come to expect from amateur level until you get to the next level.
You have to keep a level head sometimes. Most times.
Yeah. Most definitely. Share with me some moments, fans, yesterday. I mean, I've gotten your perspective, players' perspective from Stuart Garfield. Management, you've doubled up as coach. But the fans, in terms of at the venue, back in Duncan's, and then even this morning, because let me tell you something, even the next morning, you want to hear it. I have players, as a commentator, I have players who tell me they go back and they watch the goal to either see it or to hear how the commentator express that goal. So the day after, you want, how has it been this morning getting up? And I'm pretty sure you couldn't wait to walk to your door this morning to go to the Duncan's and hear the response. They gonna tell you that. They ask you if you want that. Yes. So what was it like this morning after the fact?
Tremendous feeling. You know that you just have that sense of pride walking up to the chest cold. Fans out there, violence, yes. We did it, Duncan. Looking up. I think fans complain to the number traveling to me for the past. Full time no one show go be one. No one go west, no one go, So finally they can travel.
Yes.
Get what they want.
Manager might have to invest in the next bus. Or President Sir Simpson, you may have more work.
It's really a tremendous feeling.
Yeah.
I can't tell you. It's not gonna stop. People will be talking about it, Duncan's, and I see we already know. From last night, I heard we have this keeper back in the day. He was very good. I heard him say to me, "I'm gonna come and train him tomorrow because I'm gonna work on the keeper. Love how the keeper work. Yeah, things where he can improve on, but he's gonna be there tomorrow. So hopefully we still have people come on down there and see what Duncan is like. We reach."
Yeah, that's great, and I can't let it out. I have to keep put it in there. Good job from the keeper as well. And when you mention the keeper, I just look in my head. I've seen 5 players that I really like. But I'm gonna go another route. I'm not even going to expound on it because it's your night, not mine. The youngsters. I'm gonna tell you, winning many a title with Holland. What cemented that for me was winning those titles. It meant a lot for the succession plan in terms of youngsters in and around the team. I mean, the talented youngsters coming through. What was their response like? And do you feel like this helps cement them to want to really come on the field for Duncan's now, to really be a part of this Duncan setup, to be that young talent for Duncan's coming up?
Yeah, from ever since to be honest with you, I'm gonna have a little name. My name is one of the most passionate youngsters here. We lose the game last year. Came on the field, started crying. I started crying with him. Yesterday, we won the game. He came down, he started crying.
He tried to.
And I cried.
That's something you want to know. You want well publicized, but it's not your alone.
He's one of the most passionate youngsters. He was asking, Uncle shit. I'm going to go sign for Duncan. You already know. So, Duncan.
Yeah.
Last time we stopped, I was at my home and the guys called me, they want Kentucky Friends.
Careful, you know, we can't say that here, you know, we want them
That's what they need. That's what they need.
I want my producer can beat that out a while ago. You know.
They wanted something to eat.
Yes.
Because you turn and Dandre, when I reached, Dandre said, Uncle Taxa, here's $500. Make up money to buy.
Smash up with the card. Early.
The thing is,
Early.
once you do good,
Yes. It will reverberate around the
even
city.
the kids
We'll take it off.
will eventually.
Awesome.
You understand what I'm
Awesome.
saying? So,
Awesome.
you know,
Yeah.
we just have to keep on,
Keeping on.
you know, and one of the things is when in the game, I smell winnings. Because whenever I see Bryce make certain tackle, I know that is a winner.
Mind you, he made one that I felt was a penalty, but
Well,
it balanced out because you should have had a penalty yourself. Yeah, so
Whenever I see him make them type of tackle,
he's pumped up for it. He's ready.
Yeah.
He's ready. I saw him too, and you know the big thing about it, a lot of times we make mistake on parking our work. But boy, when he makes a tackle that connects, when he turns around and he verbatim with other players and they say, look here man, you need to sharpen up here. So like he give him extra force. But in closing off this section for both of you, I mean, just give us your take in like 30 seconds on the season and what you want to say to your fans, and the same for you. Yeah.
well, fans from out there, not just Trelawny, you know, because Duncan's really have fans all over.
And Trelawny Major League now have fans all over.
That's what we're saying. So I'd like to say thanks for the support over the years. Continue to support us, and we need more fans on board because we're in a position right now where we really need you guys, you know, and we're gonna do the right, and the right is the best. So respect again.
You?
I was just gonna say thanks very much. It's been a tremendous season for our fans, Duncan, and Parish and our whole. We just wanna big up our international fans as well, the one who are looking out. Sorry you didn't watch it live yesterday, but we can watch it now. Yeah.
We have to make some money, people. We just had to make this. We had to make money.
Duncan, we are chopping, and I want you guys to come out and chop with us.
Tell them exactly in terms of the day you're playing and where you're playing and who you're playing. When?
We're gonna play at Westport Park this Wednesday. And
Time?
we're playing against Granville FC. The time is 3:30. So come on out and support us as we make that way.
Okay, awesome. Yolanda, it's good to just chat with champions. Unfortunately, you probably I don't know. You know what it feels like to win one. I'm just checking. I'm in good company. I'm just checking. I don't know. I'm just asking, but you know what it feels like.
For me, I've been to many finals, but
Never won one yet.
I haven't won one.
Oh boy, I tell you. Boy.
Oh yeah, we actually won, but I was injured, you know. So
You're still a part of it. So I won't leave you out. And producer, I hope that you are keeping us abreast. If there's anything on this chat that we need to mention, just make sure you you hit us up and let us know if there's any comments that come in that we need to make mention of.
Yeah.
So thank you very much, and all the best in your game on Wednesday. Yeah, respect. It's all about the colors and some of those players that we know quite well. At this point in time, I think before I think referee will come after because we want their perspective. But I'm gonna go to the organizing body first, and I want to invite president and competition chair. Put on that hat, Price, the competition chair hat, and president just join us here on set. Yeah. So reminding you that we're coming to you from the bar at Falmouth's Chicken. This is the any blips you heard before. This is the chicken of choice in Trelawny. We're not dealing with too much of the white box. We're dealing with the red one. And I tell you what, we had some. I don't want to let anything out, but we have some plans that are in the embryonic stage now for the stadium and big football coming. That still involves Duncan's, but bigger teams than Duncan's at the moment that they may pair themselves with. And you know what the sponsor said to me? He would want exclusive right on certain things. But he says, where food is concerned, he didn't know who it was. He said he wanted exclusive right for food by the person who provided the wings for VIP yesterday because he quite enjoyed it. Well, those 3 different types of wings, which was original, spicy, and barbecue, came from Falmouth Chicken. So that was for the VIPs. Sorry, players. One day you'll get to the VIP. But the VIP was quite nice yesterday. We were in the Prime Minister's suite yesterday at the stadium. So while you were in the changing room and you felt very good about the changing room, as we've heard you lament about, the Prime Minister's suite was even better, I must say to you, perched up looking down. So welcome on set, Mr. President and competition chair. Both are the offices that really took center stage yesterday or throughout as leading the organization, and also a competition that has had its moment, good ones, controversial ones, and really some iffy moments. But I'm going to start with you, Mr. President. In terms of, I'm going to go not chronological, well, I'm going to go chronological. Take us from the start of this competition to the end in a synopsis of what it was like before we started all of this thing, the journey and where we ended up, the potholes that you had to dodge and some were hit, and the front ends that you had to repair and all of that. Just take us through. And I use those analogies because you're in transportation. Go ahead. We're Jamaican, you have bad roads.
Well, thank you, Jerry. Good night, viewers. Good night, everyone. It's indeed a pleasure being here. It's a pleasure being able to sit one more time in this forum. I mean, I can say there is a lot of history in Trelawny football since I have been at the this is my second year, and honestly, I use my first year just as a learning process to learn, you know, the office procedure of football in the parish. And from observation, I realized that a lot of stuff just weren't right. I can recall, I think it was in the competition last year when there was an allegation that Duncan United had used a player that was registered to Salt Marsh. And we had a meeting, and what was presented as proof of registration of a player to a club at that point to me just wasn't adequate. Then it was just like a person signing, writing a player's name and putting a signature beside it. And that was what they was using to determine whether or not that player was registered to a club. That just didn't make any sense to me. Because anybody could write anybody's name and any signature could be a fix. So I realized that there were work to get done. And as a result, you know, I observed a lot throughout that competition last year. And I looked at what we need to do about this competition for this year. Would have had meetings and would have sat down and would have determined or decided exactly how we wanted the competition to be run. And we, at that point, have decided that the competition has to be guided by something. It's just as if you want to be a Christian, you have to read the Bible and follow the rules of the Bible. And I realized that football have rules to it. Competitions has rules to it that we all have to follow. And the mandate that was set is that, listen, we are going to have our competition that will be guided by the rules that govern the operation of football. So as such, we would have sat down with teams and would have outlined to them what is expected. There are players, teams that have players that were there's no proof of players being registered to your team. And we insist that the players for each team has to be registered on the system, so that if these teams move on to the next level, at least they're not going out there and they're in the dark.
Yes.
You understand? So, I mean, I just want to at this point say a big thank you to all the supporting staff, like Jeremiah, Coach Palmer. I mean, especially Coach Palmer. She has failed herself on many occasions, so Tom should have talked about coaches who were coming to coach players without being paid. And I can tell you that Palmer went to the office on numerous occasions without a dollar, just to ensure that clubs get their players on the system, because she was a person trained to register players on the system. And a lot of times she availed herself her time and everything, to help these clubs to get their players on the system. There was a lot of hiccup throughout the competition. We started the competition without even knowing where the first dollar would be coming from to pay the winner. But I would sit and I'll talk to Jerry. We'd have numerous meetings sometimes outside of a formal forum. We'll sit down and I'll say to Jerry that, listen, we have to start the competition. What I think will happen as soon as we get the competition started, we'll get people on board. Now, my thing is, a lot of persons will sit down and look to have, a big sponsor to sponsor the entire competition. And I will sit down and say to Jerry, there's no way we're going to get a big sponsor. So what we need to do is to look at small sponsors that we can pull together, associate sponsors, that even at the end of the day, if we get 10 associate sponsors, they're going to give us $200,000 each. That's $2 million. At least we can run a competition with that. And I will sit and I'll pray about it. And we started the competition. Look at us now.
Yes.
All right. So, it's a lot of hiccup. Even during the competition, we can recall at one point when we tried to enforce the rules of the game, there was a lot of backlash.
Yes.
Yeah. But being in this position is nothing new to me in terms of taking lashing. I always say that my back is very broad and I can take whipping. You understand? But, it's in me to stand up for what is right. I don't work with bias. I don't offer, any favoritism when it comes down to making a decision. Once everything is by the rules of the game, that's how we're going to play the game. Teams didn't like certain decisions throughout the competition, but we have to stood the task. There are times when we have to make very unpopular decisions. There are times when we have to retract, as Jerry would say, probably hit a pothole, we have to go fix the front end, and we move on. But all in all, we are just happy for where we are right now. And, everybody can see that this competition this year is a success. And it's our intention, our aim to make next season's competition even bigger and better. There's also our aim to incorporate grassroots football, because we can't just play football at a certain level without leaving out the youth.
Yes.
So we have to get the youth involved. And it's our aim also to get grassroots football started for the next season.
So you've mentioned, so it's good in terms of where we've gotten. Could you just outline some of the sponsors who have come on board since? because it's important for persons to know in this parish. I can tell you this: there are a lot of persons in this parish which, for me, I will always speak about it. Ever since I was a youth exchange student in Canada and came back, it's just like the whole thing has changed in terms of my civic responsibility, my social responsibility. I see life totally different. Um, I lived in Canada for a little bit and I saw where they even fired volunteers. That is how serious it is about, not because you're doing it for free. So I came back to Jamaica deciding that I want to give back because it can't just be about, I always said, if you have a mango tree in your yard, if you want your neighbor not to pick it up, just help him have one mango tree too. And it's likely that it's more likely that they won't pick yours. So helping others to come up. So a lot of businesses are in Trelawny and they probably will see this sometimes. I think they need to do more in terms of their social responsibility, because if communities feel better about themselves, if youngsters feel better about themselves and elevate themselves, then they are able to support your business by purchasing your goods or using your services and stuff like that. So I think kudos must be given to those who have really taken their invested money to further invest it in a product. And I say a product now because you've gone and led a team that is trying to make football a product and not just based on relationship. So I wanted to make mention of those persons who have come on board and those who have even in seeing the product grow, change for the better in terms of improving what they're giving us.
All right. So first and foremost, let me start by saying, Duncan Complex, I would say, is one of our main sponsors this year. They have They came on board, and I'll probably say closer to the back end of the competition, they came on board. And what they have done is really tremendous. And there are really plans afoot to take it even bigger in next year. Falmouth Chicken, right where we are at the bar. I want to say thank you to also Chris, who came on board, and they have helped us. Most of my business is really done outside of Montego Bay. Sad to say, although I'm a Trelawny man, but a lot of my business is done outside of Montego Bay. We have approached a lot of the businesses within the parish, within the town. Unfortunately, we just didn't get a positive response from most of the businesses within the parish. But that didn't deter us. That didn't deter me personally. So I decided if I have to take the begging, I have to call it begging, outside of the parish, then it's not a problem for me. So of such, some of my business associates came on board. We have QK Tours who have showed their support. We have Advantage Auto, Clinicare Pharmacy, and I must say,
and Advanced Auto is out of Montego Bay.
all these companies are in Montego Bay.
Okay.
That I'm calling right now.
Okay.
All of these companies are in Montego Bay. And I must say, the owner of Clinicare Pharmacy is a football player. He used to play for Violet Kickers.
Violet Kickers, a former Premier League champion team.
Premier League champion team. And, I'm going to be honest and I can say it. He said, Desmond, listen, I'll just come and watch the match. When I asked him, he said, Desmond, it's hard time now, but I'll give you a 50,000. And when he came and he saw what we were trying to achieve, they have made a pledge that he will give me 4 times that amount for next season. So it just goes to show that when people can come and see the product and see what we are trying to do, they will come on board. And I'm imploring that other entities in and around Falmouth and around the parish of Trelawny will come on board also to assist. We also have Northern Maintenance, another friend of mine, the cleaning company in Montego Bay. He has committed to assist as well.
Commit to assist this season or next season?
He has committed to give a contribution for this season and to come on board next season. As I said, is that if we can't find one major company to sponsor the entire thing,
we call them associate sponsors.
We go to the associate sponsor. You understand? We have Ascend Innovations, that's parts to go. At least they came on board. The barricades, the tables, and some chairs that were used actually was given to us.
And there's some hopes to engage them even further.
And there are hopes to engage everybody that we call. There's hopes to engage them to see how much we can make it better next year. And how can I leave out Sim Tours Ultimate Travel?
Who is Sim Tours?
Sim Tours is owned by a man by the name of Desmond. They are also on board, you know, and they are pledging to the cause. You understand? So,
and we'll continue next season.
And we'll continue next season. Okay. And I must say, there's a company that we have that is not in it this season, but they have pledged their support next season, not monetarily, but this is West Indies Petroleum, and they are saying to me that we'll come on board next year, but what we'll do, our sponsorship will not come in the form of cash, but in the form of vouchers, like gas vouchers, that we can give to the team for their traveling, for their away matches.
Awesome.
You know, we have people who are coming on board and people are coming to help. So
I have to say, in terms of what you're going in your list in there, I'll just interject and put one in and you can continue. Because yesterday I know the VIP section was comprising of sponsors and persons we call them prospective sponsors.
Right.
And Summers Gas, which is Nicholas Summers, somebody I know about the place that sells gas. He came in a little late, but was up top there. And when he saw what it was, he said to me yesterday in the VIP section that he's committed to be on board next season. So we just need to sit down anytime after now and look at what can be done. But he wants to be on board come next season because he says something which I think I want to echo. This generation now, it's a generation that's on their phone and they see these stuff. They support somewhat, in a sense, those who support them. And I want to echo that sentiment. I would say to someone, if you come to Falmouth, I would say to you, buy Falmouth chicken, buy the wings. It's less time in a line waiting for it. And I can tell you than the other established, I won't even call the name to give it any like that advertisement, a white box, right? You come here and I got wings. I'm a wings man. I'm a wings man. There's no doubt about it. If I live with a lady and she like wings, then maybe my things she have to go to do and she have to buy one wing. So much I love wings. And the wings was great yesterday. And I think sometimes we have to look a bit past that. He provided lunches for all our volunteers yesterday. And we had 50. And it was 50 two-piece meals that were provided yesterday for the volunteers. That's massive for you to take your staff there in on a day, and they spend pretty much a large part of the day to provide that. But for me, he said, these boys will support who support them. So he said to me, maybe if I have one billboard out, they would have sell 2 more gas tomorrow morning. And I was happy that echoed with him. And I want to echo that sentiment that we ought to support those who support us. So if you have a food place what support us over another one, buy your thing there. If you have an auto parts place that support us, then buy your auto parts there, because guess what? Even if it's $1 more, you know you get it back on another avenue in another way that may not be directly, but in a sports you play that we are now governing. I say support the people. So all that list that Mr. Simpson does reload, and I mentioned summer gas, I don't buy any other gas, even before now. So for me, I continue to do that. But if I approach you and you can't give me any approach the next gas man, he's my friend, but I'll tell him I'll support that man because we have to do that. So I just want to interject with that he said that yesterday to on point because of what he saw, that he wants to be on board come next year.
Support, one love, one family.
Yes.
Yeah, so we just have to support. Yeah, but we just have to support who is supporting us. And one other thing I can say, as a leader, I am always into looking where help can come from. My mother always tells me, if you can get the help, don't refuse it. So feel free, if you know somebody who just wants to be a part, we are willing and ready to sit and have a dialogue or sit and have talk with them. You understand? We always want to welcome sponsors on board. It can't be too much. You understand? Because the help is always needed. Again, I am not a leader who people are gonna think that, I'm going to micromanage. I have people and I'm going to delegate responsibility. And if a certain person has a responsibility, you don't need to come to me. It's just like somebody called to talk about to ask about ticket. They wanted ticket, a complimentary ticket. And the person was directly to Mr. Jeremy. So they said, what about the person? Why me can't talk to the person? He called me and said, listen, that's not my portfolio in this scenario. Speak to Mr. Jeremy. And that is how we operate. Persons are given tasks, and that's their responsibility. Competitions, we have appointed Mr. Price to deal with the competition. So anything where the competition is concerned, you're direct. Not going to micromanage. We are a team. We work as a team, and we're going to set that going forward.
All right, I'm gonna give Bryce just a little in, but I'll come back to you and you can think about it. Want to talk about having the finals in a different place, the whole aesthetic of a competition matters. I'm a big advocate of that. The look, as they say, justice must not only be served, but must appear to be served. And so the whole aesthetic of it is important. So you can think about, we're coming back to that. In terms of, and I want to tell you this, make sure you help Duncans get to that tier 2. Because in truth, I'd prefer you as my competition chair not being in my competition either.
Exactly.
So not that I don't have a problem if that is the case, if you're the best person to deal with the job as you learn it pretty fast. But give me your take on a competition that had its moments of glory like yesterday, its moments of controversy when points had to be, and the competition format had to be adjusted, and just the whole act of making a fixture that was different by probably a little bit of a default, by probably a little mistake, but it ended up working out. Just give me your take as a competition chair and the competition as a whole in terms of administrating it, and the good, the bad, the ugly, as they would call it.
All right. Good night, everybody. As a competition chairman chair of a committee with several persons, so the decision is not individual, right? It's a case where we knew that a number of persons would have favored something else, right? And then we also knew that no matter what you come up with, there are some persons who wouldn't be pleased with whatever the result is in terms of what we came up with, in terms of the competition format and all that good stuff. So therefore, we came up with a few formats, went to a meeting with the affiliates and they chose a particular format and we ran with that. Going through the competition, there were a number of information sent out to persons who chose not to read, maybe for want of, maybe can't read or not being able to download things. Therefore,
Or they don't have a printer.
But in terms of information, I think we would have sent out enough information, sometimes too much information where people are concerned. And because we wanted a good amount of transparency. So competition as such started here. We started off with teams not having benches at games too, and we tried to employ teams to get these things right because we are doing this thing a particular way. And if you know me, then you know that once we say left is left, and that is it.
That's why I played that left back.
If you can't come left, then you're going to trip you and track you.
Yeah.
Right? But teams would have made some mistakes along the way. They would have learned from those mistakes. Teams would have been charged or penalized for not following rules of the competition. And I think overall, as we would have communicated on a regular basis, we say, as long as the teams learn from these mistakes, then moving forward, it should be smooth sailing as best as possible.
Okay, fair enough. In terms of, you have anything for him? Yeah.
Yeah,
Go
man,
ahead.
and you're speaking about the benches, teams basically not having the facilities. And when you really think about football, when you think about the Champions League, when you think about the Premier League and even the World Cup, those guys are the producers of football because the footballs, those are already branded, and then countries like us, we are the consumers. So basically, that is something that we could call some funds for because I can remember when I was in primary school, there was a specific a specific sponsor, not going to say the name, but they provided some scrimmage goals, they provided some benches, they provided a lot of things that were branded. And I'm, getting up in age now, and those things are literally still there.
Yeah.
So that is something that you could even seek some sponsors for going into the next season.
Yes, indeed, because all right, to get the football to look a particular way, right? It therefore needs a number of sponsors, a number of persons to have different conversations with. So we sit down with them and we have some conversation with them and say, okay, this is where we want to go. Because according to a number of persons, Trelawny football can only get better
Yes.
from where it is now. Right? So getting those things in place, getting changing rooms at different venues too is also very important because taking the football into the communities is very important, where some persons would have been able to see a semi-final in a community. Normally,
Yes.
we take the semi-final
I understand.
to Ellison Wakeland Center.
Yeah.
This time, it is in a community, it's more personal
Yes.
to those persons, right? However, changing rooms and other different facilities that are needed at these different grounds is very important. So getting different persons on board to try to maybe even adapt a team and see how best you can brand your institution on that team grounds or whatever.
Yes.
We could do for it, more mileage for this one.
Yeah. All right, sounds good. So, what do you think about that initiative that Price was talking about, the Adopt a Team initiative? That could be something that we
Well, you see, I tell you
do next
something.
year.
The federation itself have a lot of responsibilities,
Yes.
and for the federation to take it further now by trying to get sponsors for clubs, not impossible, but it's really a tall ask. So we are thinking that clubs need to take things in their own hands and get out there to see if them themselves can seek some sponsorship for their club within their community.
Yes.
You understand? And I think that will even help to take a lot of the pressure off the federation. And will help them personally in moving their team forward. They need assistance to have a better playing surface, then those sponsors can come in to even assist
Yes.
and you know, make the game a better game within the parish.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But not to think that the federation is not mindful of clubs and their difficulties that they're having. The fact that you mentioned about even the petroleum company coming on board to provide that is a help for club. It may come in small thing. I know there has been some discussion that if the federation can find 10 companies that can even give $20,000, that's 200,000, and we say, okay, that can go towards the 10 clubs, 20,000 per club.
Yeah.
But I agree with the president that the federation was in and still is in a difficult position financially because it was inherited with and this listen me, let me just put out a disclaimer. This is no hitting out against those who were there before. I was a part of that organization as well. But the fact is, the reality is that the association was inherited in dire strain, pretty much on a lifeline, like what they call it, life-saving machine or life-supporting machine. So the association, I think, has to get out of that financial difficulty first. When you're traveling on a plane and they're giving a safety feature, and you're adult, they say when the mask drop from the ceiling, if you have a child beside you, put on your mask first, then you help the child. Because if you don't put on yours first and you put it on the child, maybe the child can't put it on you.
Yeah.
So I agree with you. We just have to get in a better place. But if we do get there, I'm pretty sure then the clubs will benefit and they'll be more maybe they'll get more money in their prizes, so that is even a help indirectly in that way. So that is massive. I said I was going to come back to you, Mr. President. Talk me through the whole aesthetic of the competition, the look. We streamed games. We ended up on the final day, Duncan's winning it in a new environment, a new setting, a new feel, a new look. And mind you, I'm one who can talk about the difficulty of really trying to pull something off on a day when, boy, and then in the night I saw you sweating profusely to get these things back in terms of on what it is like working when you have a group of possibly 10, 15, but active is only 5, and what it means in moving forward. Just give me in as much summary as you can that.
Well, if I should talk really on how we end up playing that final in an historic environment, an historic way, I mean, probably won't leave here for tonight. But again, I just want to say congratulations. Thanks to my team, about 5 or 6 persons who were behind us working our shirts off. I can remember Friday I was there sweating like a pig. Saturday the same thing. Even Sunday morning before the match, I was there because we have sponsors who have promised us stuff, and everybody just seemed like they just want to wait until the last minute. But the greatest thing is that we get it done. No, as I said from early out, it's just that I learned to do things one way, and it's always the right way. And I just wanted everything to be better and be different from what it used to be. There are many environments that you're going to. I mean, I can recall when I go on HOD meeting, duty for JFF, I was in Texas, and one of the team manager, there was certain thing happening, and I said, no, that's just not right. But this is how we used to do it. That was his response. And I'm saying, not because we used to do it that way, it doesn't make it right. You understand? And I gave him my idea, which at that point he realized was an excellent idea, and it made things even better. So from then on, he started, listening more to me when I'm on duty with them. So we decided that we want to make this thing history. Jerry and I sat and we decided that, listen, stadium is there. Why not we try to find a way how we can get football finals to be played in the stadium? Yes. And we started working on it. And eventually we got to the right person. We're knocking on different doors, but at some point we realized that that's not the right door. Till finally, the right door was knocked on. And we were given a green light to start making our phone call. And the rest is history. A lot of work was required to actually for us to get the match and get the venue ready to be played on. Cost money, but we decided, come what may, we are going to play that finals inside the Trelawny multi-purpose stadium. I was away on vacation, and I said, again, kudos to Mr. Jeremiah. He did a lot of the legwork while I wasn't here. And a lot of phone calls, and make contact with whoever. We did what we have to do, and we managed to get the stadium to host the finals. Congratulations to Duncan for making history, playing in the stadium with Trelawny Major League title for the first time. And for the first time, Trelawny Major League finals will play into a stadium. And we want to say from where I'm sitting, once I am here, and I'm almost assured that whatever finals we have been played, Trelawny Major League, it will be played in the stadium. Yes.
Yeah, and that's just good in terms of where the direction has gone for that. In terms of the stadium, all that we've experienced this season, it's important for me that, as you mentioned, it's a teamwork, always has been, and the delegation of duty is massive. And I think your leadership style is good. I mean, it will help to have persons grow in their
Right.
capacity. So it's always going to be a good stuff. Um, for next season, and we're here for the final looking at it. Before I go to next season, though, was there anything on the final day that really was not pleasant enough? Because and I call out bad stuff too, because these clubs to me are to be made aware and, if possible, punished, because it was a good day. And at one point, I was at the VIP lounge just talking to a VIP, and then I saw even your intervention where a fan from Jacksontown made way to the field.
Yes.
And I think it's not the first time. And I said to myself, we have to get to a stage where fans and teams have to know that there's consequences for this, because what otherwise was a beautiful day of celebration of football was marred by someone who felt they wanted to be seen in the wrong way. Speak to me about those stuff and whether the association will be looking at contacting these clubs, and if necessary, based on dialogue or consultation within the executive, bring some punishment to bear or some sanction in any shape or form, whether it's a warning, a slap on the wrist, or even more.
Most naturally. We are planning a meeting, an exec meeting, to look at a lot of stuff that took place on the final day. One of the main things that I was disappointed about was that third place game where the teams turn up very late for that game. That is very unacceptable.
Yes.
Yeah, it is very unacceptable, and we'll be dealing with the teams accordingly. I don't think at this stage and where we want to take the game to, we can allow the slap on the wrist mentality anymore.
The fans were, I
Fans
remember,
were there and they were pumped up and they were expecting
and were disappointed when it didn't
a
get
very good day. They paid their money and they were expecting to have 2 full matches, which they didn't get. So
They were
if we should
shortchanged.
look at it, we can say they didn't get value for money as far as the
So we can apologize
first
to
match.
them.
So yeah, so openly I'm apologizing to the fans for that first match where each half was about what, 20 minutes?
20 something minutes, yeah.
Just to at least say we have a third and a fourth place winner. But we will be dealing with the teams, those 2 teams, Overspend and the Dwanville, as far as that is concerned. I spoke with the police that was in charge. Remember, this is our first hosting of an event of this magnitude in the stadium. So there are things that we have to learn from going forward. And one of the things that we learn is that we have to find a way to secure the field more. So spectators doesn't just get access to the field just like that on a free will. But in that break, we'll have to also say to teams that please, we're asking you to try to find a way to control your supporters, because a lot of times team doesn't know or doesn't understand that your supporters are part of your team, and if one of your supporters should do something that is not acceptable, the team can be punished for it. You understand? So we're going to ask teams going forward, any match, whether it be in the community or in an atmosphere that is we have at the finals, please try to find a way to control your supporters. It was a beautiful day in the stadium. I tell you something. When I went up to the grandstand and I looked down on the field, I mean, it was just an amazing feeling. Honestly, a lot of person there was saying that really they were overwhelmed. A lot of person came in complaining about the fee that they have to pay to enter to watch the match. And when I went to grandstand, I saw one guy who was saying, "Why, Prezi, I'm going to tell you something. I have never watched football in Trelawny from this angle.
From that angle.
From this angle.
Looking down on the players.
From this angle, you know? So I said, no, you see why we should have charged 3,000.
More,
You see, that's true, you know?
Exactly.
In fact, I tell you what, there's a lot of fans who felt it was too much, so they bought a $1,000 ticket, which is bleachers.
Right.
And this farmer and I were standing, and she had to upgrade a number of tickets. The person stayed back
Yeah, man.
and said, "Look, some people tell me say the view up there, so you what? Top of the bleachers and why can't you upgrade?"
Yeah.
And they upgraded on spot yesterday. I stood there and I watched several fans handing back their bleachers tickets,
Go.
pay the $500
Go to
to go up to the grandstand
Yeah.
on that. Yes, they wanted to see it from that angle. In fact, she called me at one time because, as President says, he delegated the responsibility as in charge of I was sort of events coordinator. So they called me and they said, "Look, grandstand is spilling over." So we were in anticipation. Remember at a meeting, I said I'd asked the cleaning crew to look after the other grandstand in the event. And when I saw the pre-sold tickets on the night before the game, I suspected this is going to spill over, you know.
Yeah.
So we ended up have some spectators going over to the far grandstand, which was still a great view.
Yeah.
Some of them didn't want to go, so they said they're willing to stand in the one that we had activated before. And I saw some YouTube bloggers just lamenting about the view from that aspect. One of the VIP persons said just the tranquility that he gets from watching a game, but every now and then he gazed into the Falmouth Harbour. And it was just one of those moments. And I tell you, I was quite happy that the association could bring it because it's a cricket venue first. And I remember when I was working in Cricket World Cup, Brian Lara said when he came to that venue for a friendly game against Scotland, when he saw the view, he said he had retired from Test cricket at the time. He said if West Indies cricket gave Test status to this ground, he would have come out of retirement to play one game there because of just what it was like. And this at the time, I tell you, it was a brand new stadium I was working in. So it wasn't, even the aesthetic was even better. I mean, he just wanted to play Test cricket in this venue because he said there was nothing like it in the Caribbean. So kudos to you on the team in having it there. And like you said, we'll continue to move there in terms of games. And I won't say it here, but there's much more to come in terms of announcement where that is concerned and Trelawny football. Maybe you could say Trelawny football has found a home in a sense. And it's the mecca of sports in the parish. So we should be playing our best thing there. So in closing this section, anything you have to say that you have not said, this is the time. Price will give you a chance as well. You can go first, and then we can just close off in terms of this section.
Well, I would like to say thanks to the team of support staff that really and truly held up through this competition. Would have mentioned Miss Farmer Hola. Miss Farmer would have been my reminder.
I can tell you about that one. For a guy who forgets things.
Miss Farmer don't forget anything.
No.
Right? So therefore, she would have been my reminder, and she would have reminded me about a number of things, right? And she's always checking to ensure that you are on top of things, ensure that this and that is done. So she is one of those main pillars that would have held us up through this competition. So I would like to say a big thank you to Miss Farmer on behalf of the organizing committee. Right?
Who was not an executive as well of the FA.
Yes.
This was co-op
until
until
you can't give people time. Right. In terms of the social media group, thank you very much. You would have branded our football in a way that I don't think we can really pay for. We can't put a price on it. Right? And a number of persons can go back and watch themselves now. And see how best they can improve on themselves, and even some teams that I even use it
in tactically doing your stuff. And and the fact that they were quite flexible in the end to understand that though we had initially advertised that we're going to stream the games live, but to understand from a financial standpoint that we wanted more people in the finals. I can tell you, it all came about because when we looked at the semi-final at William Lim, there was 150 people streaming. And I said, boy, I know I'm going to upset the apple. I know I'm going to upset the apple cart, you know. But you know what? That is 150,000 minimum, and even if we get half of that, it's $75,000. I said, look here, brother. We have to look for change this thing. We have to delay it because some people, when we have said the ticket pre-sold, me, some people said, I have to come, man, we can watch it from the yard. I said, boy, well, we have to change this, brother. It's all about getting the funds in. And who knows, maybe we'll get to a sophisticated stage some days that we can say, set it in a way that the overseas viewers can view it, but locally can't view it. Maybe we'll get to that stage. But yeah, you're right. But street sports, I want to echo the sentiment that it costs us to do it. It's not a case where it's a sponsor up front first, but I have to give him credit the fact that sometimes he asks me if I forget stuff, but I'm a hard player sometimes. So sometimes he says some things to me, and I say, no, I'm not working with that. Cut it out. He said, they don't give me that, but I don't want it. No way. And he said, boy, I'm saying, you know, easy, no, brother. He said, but I don't want it. It's my budget. Yeah. And he had said to me, look, I'm working with you. And I gave him the commitment that at least I'm pretty sure that come next year we'll work with street sports again, and then after that we can sit down again and then see whether or not we can make it, you know, even more symbiotic, because we have to get there. Because even though I got approached from another person who wanted to stream the final as well at a cost too, but such was the product was really getting to a stage where others wanted the product now, which is why we had engaged street sport. And he's passionate about it, so he realized where I was when I said, look, cut back the budget, brother. And said, Mr. Jeremy, I'll give you some free games. So I will give you something extra. So he knows we have a good relationship, but sometimes I'm a hard bargainer because I am all about it. And yesterday I saw some of my past players wanting to go grandstand. And them say, but coach, I go, and I say, boy, wait, let me see your band. He said, play, me say, you have to downstairs. It's simple that. Then I know I'm talking, me gone. And I say, and Red was one of them who I make nice, because I take him out of grandstand yesterday. Them go there and him say, but I say, you have to, and he make all type of nice, and him having family to come. He say, in the future. He said, well, you can't ask a naked man for clothes. And right now, Trelawny football, and I have no clothes. So you are making nice about clothes. So I took him out, but the respect is there and mutual. So yeah, I agree. Kudos to you, street sports. We've worked together, and I think we'll work together. Well, not think, we'll work together come next season. After that, we have to both decide how the pot is sweet, and we take it from there. So hopefully, we stream more games next season. And its precedents, I think if there's any, I don't think there's another association that really consistently stream games or have a partnership in this way as a media partner, which is good for us. Persons from New Zealand, for Duncans, were watching game, and in fact, Falmouth Chicken came on board because we were able to show them the audience that we appeal to, the age group which we are appealing to. And they were able to say, but this is the age group that we want to appeal to, which is 18 to 25, which is our largest viewing age. And the fact that we were in Trelawny, Kingston, all over, this is a company that has a branch in Montego Bay and Lucy, looking to set up one now in Portmore. So the fact that we are able to reach audience outside of Trelawny matters to these persons. And when we conceptualized going to a streaming partner, that was it. We wanted to make it a product, so football could stand on its own and not just we knowing somebody to talk to them. But I mean, Jobson and I are very good friends, but I still had to show him facts, data, that this can help your company. Gone are the days when you write one letter to a company and ask them for something with nothing in return. So that is what matters. I went to Tankwell. I see it on your shirt there, Mr. Stewart. And it was a pleasing thing to her when I was able to provide her a proposal for Holland and not just a letter begging something. And she said to me, when do you want this? And I said, anytime, man. She said, boy, that was a welcome change, because normally she used to let us drop off and then want a jersey 1 week time to play in a competition. That is where sponsorship has gone. What can Trelawny football give them? And Falmouth Chicken saw where Trelawny football could give them something, because we were now doing something with street sports. So it matters, and it helped making a product. So Prezi, you're closing out in terms of the comments here, and we'll get one final view for maybe about a minute or two from the referee, and we close out tonight.
All right. Just want to conclude by saying thank you to all our sponsors. Again, I can't stop but name them out.
Name them again.
Right?
It's worth it. It's worth it. It's dollars in it. We name it, and I don't think we name it enough tonight. But listen again. Listen
talk
again.
about New York and say the city, so big we have to name it twice.
Yes.
Alright, so we're gonna say Duncan Complex. Again, thank you. Farmer Chicken, QP Tours, Advantage, Auto, Clinic Care Pharmacy, Northern Maintenance, Ascend Innovation, Parts to Go, and the Sim Tours Ultimate Travel. A big thank you to you all for your support. Jamaica Street Sports. How can we not say a bigger thank you to Jamaica Street Sports? You have come
And
on
for
board.
those who give us little things on the final day, like Duncan's Bakery.
You have made a difference.
Yes.
And for all those who know that they play a part in making this a success, thank you as well. We're just looking for something bigger and better next season or next time around. We want to also thank the teams that participated in this competition. All we can say is just pull up the socks next year. We're just trying to make this thing better for everybody. And all we want to know that they are on board to play their part in making this better. Thanks to my team, thanks to my supporting staff. Always a pleasure working with you. We're going to continue working together to make this better. Also want to wish Duncan's success in the Tier 2 playoff. I did not know they mentioned the first game that they'll be playing, but I'm just going to go through their matches so persons who don't know, you can know. This Wednesday, which is July 24th. No, July
24.
24?
Yeah, 24.
Okay.
Yeah, they'll be playing Granville United. That's at Westport Park. And then the following Saturday, they are at home. Anybody say where home game will be just yet?
It's going to be
Huh?
C Road.
Zero? Well, they have not decided, but on the 27th, which is the following Saturday, they'll be playing at home against 12th Street Soccer Club. That is from Westmoreland. The following Saturday, which is the 3rd of August, they'll go to Lucy United, and that's probably should be somewhere in Lucy, Europe. And then the following week, which is the 10th, they are back home now against Granville. Next week, they are on the road. They're going to 12th Street. That we're playing at Line by or Westmoreland, right? And their final match will be at home. As soon as they said is on the 24th of August, where they'll play the final match against Lucy. All the best Duncans. I want you to go there and make Trelawny proud. I want to see you playing in the Tier 2 competition next year. Thanks, everyone. It was indeed a pleasure.
Awesome. So you're free. Yeah, you're good to go. Awesome. Just to also mention that Trelawny Football Association is going back, so it's not the final time that we'll be mentioning Duncans as a champion. We will be having you notice yesterday we didn't have medals and stuff like that, sectional prizes. That is because Trelawny Football Association has decided to add another activity in the calendar year this year, which means that we will have a presentation ceremony back to where we used to, where we have something sort of semi-formal, and that gives the sponsors another event to get their brands out there and participate as well. And the Duncan's team will get a chance again to relive their moment of lifting a trophy and collecting their medals and being on this in the center stage again. So that is definitely coming up, and we'll plan that. Hopefully it will be like a celebration for being in the Tier 2. That is something to come. So at this point, we're going to invite, and probably for a shorter section, just for him to speak from two views, as a referee and also as a spectator this season as compared to last season or the season before,
Yes,
in terms of what it was like working in the Major League this season. We're going to welcome to or invite to join us here on set Mr. Nicholas Anderson, a FIFA assistant referee and who was on duty yesterday in the final. A referee, an assistant referee that I so often call in commentary when I'm doing it for another station. The Eagle Eye assistant referee who spotted a no goal, was it, in Manning Cup at the stadium, and Walker Cup. And the coach, a famous coach, Never Bell, gave him a hard time when he called it and said it was not a goal. I was listening, Never saying, boy, this referee took away his goal. But Neville is a good friend of mine, and when he came back out, I watched it at halftime, and he said, "Boy, I have to apologize to that referee because he got it spot on. It was not a goal." Welcome to the set, sir. And listen, yeah, man.
In that game, he came to me half time.
He did.
Yeah, and I said, listen, you work at TV, you have all the cameras. Go check it. Yeah, and so coming back out, he apologized
and he did say it publicly as he was giving him a hard time on here. He did come back on here to say, look, he got it right. What is your take on football in Trelawny this season? Did we get it right? All of us, with all the stakeholders, did we get it right, somewhat right this season?
Most of it, yeah. We got most of it correctly.
Yeah, and that's why I said we.
Yeah. We got most of it correct. Yeah, going into the final game. Excellent playing at the stadium. Yeah, as you mentioned, fans enjoyed it. Things to be tweaked and fixed. Yeah. Like the security issues. Yeah. We that fan coming out onto the field, we can fix that easily. Remember, Jamaica plays game there and security there. So it can be fixed. Compared to last season, I think it's more exciting this season. Duncan's making it back to the final again. So I'll switch and say the better team lost the game.
Better team lost the game? Yesterday? Yeah. You're saying that Jackson Town were the better team on the day? With the chances created? Yeah, and I don't think Duncan will mind that because they're winners. In a final, it doesn't matter how you win. But I think their manager and president was quite honest. He said the game could have gone anyway. And I think a coach there would have said the same thing. Jackson Town player said to me today that it could have gone anyway, but also he felt that they should have had a penalty. But he said to me in the same breath that a penalty could have gone to Duncan's early. And he was saying to himself, had they gone down 1-0 that early, it could have been worse. Or it could have been bad. So I think they both respected each other's performance yesterday. Yeah.
At the end of the day, the most organized team won.
Yeah, put it that way. I think you got it. No wonder you're a good. Yeah, you're a good assistant. I mean, you summed it up nicely. Maybe the better team on the day in terms of performance might have lost in terms of chance created, but the most organized team. And what they say in a league, it wasn't fully a league, but they say over the length and breadth of a league, the best team won. In terms of reffing in that venue, you've done a lot of Premier League games. Was it an atmosphere that was close to anything that you have done in Premier League games?
Certainly. The fact that the stadium was designed for cricket, so bringing football there, the players, the officials, you'll have to make your way down the aisle through the crowd of fans.
Yes.
On both sides.
On both sides.
So the energy is there. You make your way down. And you do all you need to do and you get ready. And if you glance back up, a great view up top, down below, and then there's the work down on the pitch. The crowds are there. It's an atmosphere where if you're shouting on the top of your lungs in the stands, you'll hear it. You have to block that out. Like most venues, you don't get that. International also, most venues you don't hear. They'll be close to you by the line. You don't hear what they're saying. But there, you'll hear it. And like you said, Brian Lara would have come out of retirement to play there. Of course, it's a venue where you hit a six and the ball is traveling. The camera would catch the ball going, and behind that is the Caribbean Sea. So it's a great venue to be at.
Good vibes. And you can come in after. Final question to you. You walked down an alley or corridor and you went straight into your referee's room, well air conditioned. What was the hospitality like for you, the referee?
It's great because I appreciate you walked into your AC room. You walk into your air conditioned room, you cool down, your refreshment is there, you're looking out through the window, you're watching the first game going on, you're getting a feel as to what is happening there, you're looking down on your teammates performing and soon be your turn. So you're
Yeah.
seeing the game from that view. Teams are there to your left, teams are there to your right. They're getting pumped up for the game, and you have your job to do. You're getting pumped up also to go out and execute.
Okay. Anything from you?
Yes. So Mr. Jeremiah would have focused on the finals overall, but for me, with all of the experience that you have for the overall competition, what are some of the things that you believe, some sponsors could come in and assist some of the teams with to, make the league look a little bit more attractive?
Certainly. It's I don't think the TFA restrict the teams with their kit. You can always have whoever you want on your kit. There's no restriction on it at the in the TFA. So you can get your kit from overseas or wherever. Most of them get a kit from overseas. Yes. And you can have your brand on it to advertise your venue. You can also put up your signboard. Mr. Jeremiah said his friend Samuel said he will have his signboard at the final. You can have your signboard at the venue.
Yes.
Then Jamaica Street Sports will be at the venue shooting. So the game will be carried live.
Yes.
So your signboard can be there, being displayed on your jersey during the walkout. It's a whole world of possibilities for the whoever wants to sponsor the teams. Yeah, like I said, Conquel is there who sponsor. You saw Rayo.
Yeah, the back end.
Conquel is a major sponsor for Waterhouse in the Premier League. You go to Waterhouse Stadium and you'll see all those things. So the spin-off can be had here in Trelawny also.
Yeah. All right. Well, good.
Yes.
Yeah. Awesome. It was good having you, top referee, assistant referee. You were here for the finals, and long may you continue good work. All right. Come on. There you have it. And wrapping up here, I just didn't get to it, but players are still here, so maybe they can just shout it out. Let me hear. Price and Garfield Stewart. One of the things that sorry we missed it, but maybe we can get from them is just in closing. One of the things that we want to do is to continue to bring football of different level to the parish. What was it? What was the surface like? Because I got a view from the Jacksontown player. I'll say what he said after, which was good stuff. What was it like playing? Because one of the things people tend to say, it's a cricket stadium, so field may not be good enough. What was it like playing on the surface?
I think the role was what it seems that the role that was very good. There are no more persons who will find it difficult because they are the most of the field and sun. Right? However, in terms of even bowls and all of those things, it was good. So therefore, it was good.
For you as a defender. So we got a defender's perspective. Let's get an attacking perspective on it.
Yeah. Just that what Price said. It was pretty good. Not tough. That's stand. I realized that a lot of stand.
It's good. Pretty good. Yeah, and your opponent, a striker he said to me that across the surface quickly. So he quite liked it too. But what he said too about it is that when you go to a venue and you see that the grass isn't as thick, you might start thinking it's going to be hard, but he said it was quite easy on the ankles and stuff like that. In fact, he gave it a very good passing grade for playing on. And we're saying that because it's also I've been advocating and championing for schoolboy football to be played at the venue. And today I was in consultation with Issa, and they'll be coming down one day this week. And they are almost committed already to interzone games being played there. So what we have done is to sort of break down some barriers for other type of football to be played there. So who knows, there was even some contemplating of opening and closing ceremony are taking place there. They're saying for now they're thinking of catching out for the opening ceremony for schoolboy football, because last year was in Kingston. They're looking for this side, but they haven't ruled out Trelawny Stadium coming there this week to see the possibility of it. So the fact that Street Sports was able to help me because I sent them the video of the game from Trelawny Stadium yesterday. So it could yet be possible that we see schoolboy football in Trelawny at the stadium. For me, it was an entertaining season. I was a part of a team, didn't get too far in it, but it was still fun. I enjoyed it. For me, You know, I know what it feels like winning this about 3 times before, but it was good to see some other people getting it. And for me, I saw a reflection of myself or my team in Duncan's. And I saw many players on both teams in the final that I've worked with. And I've always said to my club, I just want to influence football in this parish. And if I can have a little bit of how I believe football should be played in every team, I would have succeeded. I think football succeeded this time around, and I'm pleased to see Dunkers. And I think they'll do well. I honestly believe they'll do well. So that's it for me. You can take us out.
So for the final time, congratulations to the third place winner, Doanville FC, and congratulations to the champion, Duncan United FC. And that's it for us here for the Jamaica Street Sports team. Don't forget to subscribe to the Trelawny Major League YouTube channel as well. And Jamaica Street Sport is expanding. You can find them on TikTok and also on Instagram. And ensure that you like, share, and subscribe.
Take it out. Blessings.